Alright, yo, what's going on, all my gamers, all my Honkai Star Rail gamers? So, I have been actually putting this video off because I've been busy the last few days, but I am here to be the Hoyo shill this time. Actually, no, I wouldn't even call myself a Hoyo shill, chat. If you guys know me, I'm more of a gacha shill. You know, that seems more of an appropriate title for me because I shill for gacha games. I think gacha games are pretty great, and they're getting better every year. But this video has been making the rounds everywhere. I've seen everyone reacting to this, and I need to get in here and I need to watch it, bro. People letting Ryuuku Sensei just slide, bro. I ain't gonna let you slide, bro. You ain't gonna get an inch out of me. I'm gonna sit back and we're gonna dissect this as a Hoyo enjoyer, chat. This is gonna get bloody. Let's get it.
I can't. I just can't anymore. I feel like I'm going insane hearing this all the damn time. Honkai style is amazing. Not like
Yeah.
gacha Genshin. Penacony.
Wait.
More like Penacony. Am I right?
Yeah,
No,
let's
you're not
go.
right. In fact, you are absolutely wrong. Now hear me when I say this. And I'm speaking to you. Yes, you.
Me.
Specifically you. Honkai
What did I do?
This gets closer. Honkai Star Rail fucking sucks.
Wow, that's crazy, Ryu. When did I ask? No, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
With
Sorry.
numbers.
Yes, science!
Now let me explain. First of all, do I even play Honkai Star Rail? Yes. Kinda. I mean, I log in, stare at Himiko, do my dailies, stare at Kafka, do the simulated
Cool.
universe each week, stare at Hanya, and have
I'm kind of sad that Hanya sucks because I actually like her design, and same with Jie. I think both of them look great, but man, Himiko. I mean, the thing with Himiko, which I would agree with him, is I love big-breasted motherly figures. There's no deep-seated issue there, but yeah. So I can agree with him on that. Kafka, all about it. You know what? You got me there.
slowly been building up my characters. I started back around mid-March.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. At this point, I've been at the end game, so I've just been leveling everyone's traces and getting everybody up to an optimal place just so I can use more characters.
After watching the 2.1 live stream about all the new rewards after the anniversary, hashtag Genshin could still never, and I wanted to quickly grind up through all the content from 1.0 all the way through to 2.1 to get Acheron, because I'm a disgusting little simp that wants her to step on my I got Sparkle.
Me too.
Dr. Ratio was in my inbox, as well as all the free pulls. The introduction to the game was
Dr.
really
Ratio,
fun and engaging. I enjoyed playing through the Herta space station and pretty much everything on Belobog.
Hey, I just got your part actually. Thank God. Oh my God. Dude, why are this is something that I've noticed. Every one of these plants, except for Penacony, but Belobog and the Xianzhou, why are they all ran by very hot women? Like Cochlea, fuck, I don't remember her name. Why can't I remember her name? God, I love her too. Sorry, go ahead.
Huh? I thought you said Honkai Star Rail sucks. You're glazing it harder than a Krispy Kreme.
They're all ran
donut
by
right now.
mommies.
Yeah. I'm gonna get to that. Shut the fuck up. It had good design, action, pacing. The story wasn't too simple, but still easy to follow. There was a good balance of puzzles, battles, and story all woven together well to make the storytelling experience really enjoyable with a fantastic soundtrack and an amazing finale with the Cochlea fight.
Yeah.
And then we get to Zhuangzhou
I love the
Luofu.
Cochlea.
Yeah.
The what?
And an amazing finale with the Cochlea fight. And then we get to Zhuangzhou Luofu.
Is that how they say it in Japanese? Isn't it the Xianzhou? I feel like I've never heard anyone actually say it correctly, like the way it's said in Mandarin. Xianzhou Luofu.
Yeah. No one really likes that area. Just wait until you get to Penacony.
Xianzhou Luofu.
Zhuangzhou Luofu wasn't the worst. Definitely a step down from the massive high that we got after the end of Belobog, but on the whole, I don't actually mind Zhuangzhou Luofu. It was an interesting world with a completely different...
I kind of like the Xianzhou, but the problem with the Xianzhou the first time was I think switching between characters was kind of... I think the story was just forgettable. I'm going to be completely honest. I couldn't tell you what the story for the Xianzhou was. I can't lie. Not until the second time.
Vibe, the music was good, the puzzles were fun and interesting, and we got new lore. The thing that really dragged it down, in my opinion, was the unnecessary jargon for relatively simple concepts.
I'm here to witness the divination of the Matrix of Prescience.
You're here to read her mind and get some information out of her. I'm here to witness the divination of the Matrix of Prescience.
Yeah, but that's the thing, bro. That's just who she is. I feel like this isn't a really good example just because that's how Fushuan is. They even have a bunch of funny moments where they do just this, where they overcomplicate things when she's trying to say something normal. That's just Fushuan. I don't know. That's just me. Like, that's just her character,
English,
bro.
goddammit.
No, she's not going to speak like that.
Like I said,
it's part of her character.
Jargon and exposition.
I believe we are dealing with the so-called
This, on the other hand, yeah, I got you. Now we're on the same page.
disciples of Sanctus Medicus.
I don't know who these people
Xianzhou has the blessing of the Rainbow Arbiter in the
I don't know who the Rainbow Arbiter is. I know who Sanctus Medicus is. It's part of one of the plot points, and I know
ambrosial arbor's dove.
I don't know what that is.
The arbor was felled thousands of years ago.
It wasn't the worst area I've ever been to. Oh no, that crown undeniably goes to Penacony.
Really? Why Penacony?
Closer. A little more. Closer. Fuck Penacony.
Uh-huh.
I have never had a worse gaming experience in my life. And I've been playing games since I could hold a controller. I can remember playing...
Well, if you haven't had a worse gaming experience, why don't I introduce you to a little game called League of Legends? Sorry, go ahead.
Sonic the Hedgehog on the original Sega Mega Drive back when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I didn't get far. I was a kid. I just like seeing the spinny ball go zoom. Anyway, my point is I've been playing games for a long ass time. And never in my 35 years on this planet have I raged at just how mind-numbingly boring Penacony is. And yes, I am including that Aranara quest from Genshin.
The Marinara quest was stupid. I kind of skipped. I have no idea what... I have no idea what happened in the Marinara quest. I skipped all the dialogue.
But then it just dives off a cliff with Penacony. The biggest problem with Penacony is that it's just not fun. Like, at all. You literally cannot do a single thing for the first hour and a half where you get to that one battle that takes about a minute to clear. And after that, you're right back to yapping for another 48 minutes with literally nothing to do but run around with...
Do you not like the Firefly date? I don't... Hello? Am I being trolled? Does no one like the Firefly date? I like the Firefly date, mostly because I stole all her money. Sorry. Whoops.
With Firefly doing real important stuff like roulette, ice cream, and football, I guess. Oh.
Bro, she's so tall. She can pick me up.
Got another battle. That's another 1 minute of something, I guess, against a fucking trash can. I actually timed how much turn-based action RPG we got in this turn-based action RPG game. So
I think going into this game thinking that the story is going to have turn-based RPG that's required is not good. Like, I'm going to be completely honest, a lot of the stories, especially more recently with, like, Genshin and Fontaine and stuff like that, a lot of it doesn't actually have a lot of fighting. And now that there's, what do you call it? Now that they remove... I think Zenless probably has the most fighting when it comes to stories. But besides that, I think a lot of these games don't actually have a lot of fighting. Like, if you go through Fontaine, a lot of the fighting is just... A lot of that is just courtroom stuff. I think, like, the way that I saw it was that each place has its own kind of theme, and I think they're doing that the same with Penacony, and this theme is more of like murder mystery kind of thing, so you're not going to do a lot of fighting, right? Or at least that's how I look at it.
2.0 takes about 5.5 hours to complete.
I love that. I love 2.0. 2.0 was great. It was a great introduction. It ends, I think this is the one that ends with Firefly dying. God, I actually cried when you can look at her phone when you thought that she died, bro. That broke my heart, bro. I couldn't handle it. But yeah, dude, I loved this one, dude. With Firefly, you just don't like Firefly. That's fine, bro. I loved Firefly. The Firefly date was amazing.
Right? Keep in mind, this is about the same amount of time it took for us to complete the entirety of Belobog. And this is just the introduction to Penacony.
Yeah.
So 5.5 hours, and of that, you spend a grand total of 9 minutes, 24
I love this
seconds
video. I love this part.
You
do the Yamcha thing.
That is literally 2.85% of the time doing the thing you came to this game to do. Oh, so it's...
I didn't really come to this game to fight. Well, I mean, I kind of did.
It's not good if you're not constantly fighting? Is that what you're trying to say? No, not at all. I don't need it to be 100% fighting all the time. Hell, I don't even need it to be 50%. But less than 3% is not nearly enough. I didn't hate everything, though. There's the interactive section with Firefly. That was all right. Took about 15 minutes, though. Then there's a time that we're in the Dreamscape. This is the only area in Penacony
the Dreamscape is pretty cool.
This is what we were promised.
There was a ton of fighting there. That's probably where all the 3% was.
With that whole scene with Akron. And when we were there, I immediately felt a major shift in tone and storytelling that was completely absent so far. Okay. Right, I'm guessing this is where the story gets good. At least I'm hoping. Too bad we were only there for about 45 minutes, max. Most of the time, you can't really do anything but go to the next dialogue
They look so funny, sped up.
Location and sit around watching people yap. How much yap, you ask? Again, I timed it. 3 hours, 49 minutes, and 36 fucking agonizing seconds of yap. Out of 5 hours and 17 minutes of story, might I remind you. And at the end, the big twist, the big reveal is that Robin is dead.
What about Firefly?
Oh, you mean the girl that only had 3 minutes and 43 seconds of screen time this entire quest? That girl? We were supposed to care that she died? Her own song has a longer lifespan than she does. Seriously, why was I supposed to care? Then on to 2.1, we'll continue on with Trailblazer's story. Right? Wrong. Oh, this quest. This fucking quest. Oh my god. It pissed me off so much I was about ready to punch through my desk. I thought 2.0 was bad, but I had absolutely no idea about the mind-numbing torture I was about to get myself through. Looking back on it, I would rather French kiss a Dementor than go through all this again. The quest is just less than 6 hours.
This, now we're on board. Now you and me are on the same page. I don't I cannot begin to tell you how much this quest actually made me hate Aventurine. And it's not because I think Aventurine's a terrible character or anything like that, but it's the fact that this thing just revolved around this quest. If you cut out Aventurine's quest, I think this quest is maybe an hour and a half. I don't care, bro. I really don't. I really don't care about Aventurine that much. I don't 5 hours care about Aventurine, bro. Like, that needs to be its own character quest. Why wasn't it a character quest? It was essentially a character quest that's forced upon us because we have to play 2.1 to go to 2.2, which is, I mean, I like 2.2. But 2.1 being forced to have the Aventurine quest, it was awful. I hated it, bro. I complained about it myself, and I actually had to, I think I had to break this up into 2 different streams just because that's how long it really took to do this quest. It sucked.
Long, and 4.5 hours of that is nothing but pure fucking yap. Shut up. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck. There was a total of about 24 minutes worth of fighting. 13.5 minutes of those weren't necessary to the story at all. 45 seconds weren't necessary to the story.
You know what's funny? I actually didn't care. I didn't care. I've actually skipped a lot of fights where you don't have to. I think I did it for the Ruan Mei quest just because I wasn't strong enough to beat the Swarm. And I didn't have any imaginary characters. The only imaginary character I had was Dr. Ratio, and I think Dr. Ratio sucks. He sucks even more. I think he was okay then. I think he sucks now. He's basically useless, so we have a useless 5-star now. But yeah, I just skipped a lot of that. I just ran around the bikes. I ran around the Swarm. It was really funny.
Story. And the last 11 minutes were the fight against Aventurine. You spent more time staring at static images, listening to people talk about politics.
I knew that Jade was coming just because she has an actual design, but man, if it just had me stare at Jade and just stare at her chest, I would have had a better time listening to Aventurine's quest. I don't care, bro. I'm sorry. Sparkle was right, okay? This is why I love Sparkle. This is why I have Sparkle. I don't have Aventurine.
Very important.
Which is a mistake because Aventurine's actually really, really good.
Theological stuff you have no idea about. What do you mean? It made sense. I followed it. Were you even paying attention to it?
It did make sense. I did follow it. I just didn't care. There's a difference between not following it and just not caring. I followed it for the most part, but I think this is actually highlighting one of the biggest problems with Honkai Star Rail story is they'll throw a bunch of groups at you, not even terms, groups. They throw groups at you that you don't even know. Like when they off-screen the flame guy, I don't know who he is. I never heard his name before then. And then they just, oh yeah, Acheron off-screened him. Okay. I don't care. It just, that was the only part that's something that was such a big problem with this quest, this Penacony quest, is they'll throw names of groups at you and you're supposed to know who they are. Or people. I'm like, bro, I don't know who these people are. What the hell is happening? That's why Acheron's part, I think Acheron was in this part. It was in 2.0 or 2.1 or 2.2. I forget. But they just when the Acheron was having her story being told, and like, I think by that lake, like, I didn't understand a lot of that, dude. A lot of it, I had no idea what was happening.
So the story? Yes, I was actually. I didn't skip a single line of dialogue. I was a good little boy and I took it all in. And all this stuff that went on about in Penacony made literally no fucking sense.
A lot of it did. A lot of it in 2.1.
A lot of the stuff being talked about in Penacony, you have to play through the simulated universe.
The world ending / part, that was really cool. I really like that. I think the Aventurine fight onward was pretty cool. Although the only thing about the Aventurine leading up to it sucked. Like when I saw the little Aventurine, the smaller version of Aventurine walking by us over the, the part, I wanted to kick him off. But yeah, this part's cool. The world ending / part was cool. I thought it was sick.
Several dozen times. You have to have gone through all the different encounters and read through all the dialogue trees there are to understand what was going on.
I love Acheron.
Can I get some peace and quiet today? Holy shit. All this stuff about the hunt this, harmony that, nihility, emanators, jippe, etc., etc. All of that was hardly even mentioned, let alone explained in the main story. Like, at all. And maybe I'm a little bit naive for thinking this, but I think if something is going to be talked about in the story, it should be properly introduced and explained in the story.
100%. I absolutely agree with this. I think this is... Dude, you cannot bring me new terms and expect me to understand it. You know what's one thing that really sucks about them doing this in another game? They did this in Genshin when it comes to Arlecchino's power. You can find out about Arlecchino's power. Is it in the main story? Nope. You know where it is? It's in a random book somewhere. They can't do that, bro. If it's important, you have to tell us. I know that sounds like, oh, you don't look like you're going through reading and stuff like that, and it kind of does. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of not, but like you have to tell us, bro. This isn't a FromSoft game, which honestly I love. I love Soulsborne stuff. You know, I listen to all the videos about the Dark Souls lore. I've spent hours watching it, but still, this is not like this game. This game has to, like, you can't bring up terms we don't know, right? You can't just be like, oh God, I can't even remember the people that they were talking about. The Flame Gang, whatever. Those guys. Where did that come from? I don't know, but it was a part of the beginning of the story. Acheron took him out. Why? I don't know, but she was trying to be a Galaxy Ranger doing that, and that's how we found out about Bussy Hill, baby. Good old Bussy. Well, fork me. Sorry, go ahead.
Wild concept, I know. Also, another hot take here. But I thought the main story quest was supposed to, you know, follow the main character. The majority of 2.1 was from the perspective...
That part I don't really care about. I really don't. The main character not being, like, the main centerpiece... I don't really care. Like with ZZZ, we're kind of there, but we follow other people's stories. So I don't know. I like it. I don't really care.
Of someone that I could literally not give two flying fucks about. Aventurine.
Yeah. God, I don't like Aventurine.
He was on screen for a total of like say 30 minutes. Most of the time he was being a dick. And in 2.1 you're supposed to spend most of the time
and in 2.0 he's mostly getting accosted by Sparkle, which is my favorite part.
In his point of view, following his story, talking about things that we don't know, doing things we don't care about, talking to NPCs.
I think if they made a 10-hour companion Aventurine quest, that would be totally fine. They can go into all the finer details. Do you know why that's fine? Because that's not the main story. I don't have to go out of my way to do it. I have to be forced to do it. I can go out of my way to do like a 10-hour companion quest, sure, because it's not mandatory. But when it's forced on you and it's like, God, dude, I don't care, man. I'm like an hour in. I'm like, I don't care, bro. And then when, you know, I'm just thinking back, man, I really like Sparkle. Anyways, go ahead.
We're going to forget about. Why was this in the main story quest?
I don't know,
could
dude.
not have cared less about Aventurine when going through this, and I was slowly hating him more and more the longer I was forced to play as this golden
I hated him so much I didn't get him.
With freshly shaved testicles on his chest.
Whoa. That's a JoJo reference, bro. Come on.
Well, it's supposed to set up his motivations for the final battle, and yeah, and character story quests exist exactly for this reason. What they should have done is save all of that for a quest that we have to do after we, Trailblazer, go through our own story. Go through that, make Aventurine seem like the villain, have the big fight with Aventurine, yada yada yada. Then we have a character story quest unlocked where we flash back to go through all of Aventurine's stuff. That would recontextualize how we see him as a character.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's a great idea. I would absolutely love that idea, you know? Instead of it being forced upon us or we have to learn later, I think that'd be great.
And put everything in a new light. If you're familiar with Harry Potter, you'll understand what I mean.
Potter?
We go through that story thinking Snape is a bad guy out to get Harry. It's not until far into the later books that we get his backstory, and it completely changes how we see him as a character and his actions in the story so far. If we had known that backstory before all of this, it would have ruined many narratives and plot twists. Now back to Honkai Star Rail. So putting aside all the Aventurine stuff, we spend about 2.5 hours as Trailblazer, and what we were doing? Going from one location to another to stand around talking. Most of the dialogue is basically recapping what we just went through in 2.0. That is until the bar sequence. Quick question. What was the fucking point of that bar sequence? Did I miss something? Like, Shaban is hot and all. Don't get me wrong.
I love her, bro. She's my tomboy dream, bro. I love her.
The entire thing had nothing to do with the story at large, right? Seriously, what was the point? Just to set up that drink mixing minigame? Okay. Why is it in the main story quest, though? It makes no sense at all. Hoyoverse, listen.
I think the problem with Penacony is they didn't do it the way that they do it in Zenless Zone Zero, where they front load everything onto the main story instead of separating them into different mini games, right? Which I think there was a mini game for this, but if there was a mini game for this, then that should be it. It shouldn't be in the main story again. I think we did get some lore in this part, so that's fine. And I think we talked to Gallagher, but other than that, like, it shouldn't be that long. They shouldn't, like, take out everything that was additional and then separate it into different parts. That way that the patch doesn't seem so empty, which I don't think that patch felt that empty, mostly just because the quest was so long. But still, I think that should have been its own thing. I think it was for more of it. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was. It also had a different minigame that you could have done on the side. But, yeah, I don't think it should have been forced. If that makes sense. I don't know. That's just me.
I get that you want to make this game a more cinematic experience. Cool.
Yeah, dude, the world-ending slash.
Learn a thing or two about, you know, cinema. Having people stand around talking for several minutes at a time with no changes in angle, character focus, zero character movement, or anything like that is just not interesting at all. And that's when they're trying. Like I mentioned before, there were way too many static shots or just straight up black screens in this patch. And here's the golden rule for cinematic storytelling, hoyoverse. Show, don't tell. In fact, there were a total of 35 minutes and 54 seconds of scenes with static images, whereas a grand total of 24 minutes, 7 seconds actually in battle.
Wow.
At this point, Honkai Star Rail is the equivalent of Love and Deep Space, a visual novel.
Man, no one cares about Love and Deep Strokes. We're talking about Nikkei here. It's more like Nikkei, which Nikkei is a absolutely phenomenal story. Nikkei, great story.
With minor gameplay aspects, which is fine for lads because that's what they marketed themselves as. Can't say the same with Honkai Star Rail though. And this tell, don't show style storytelling, using that word very loosely, continued into 2.2 as well. I think you can tell what I'm going to say about this patch too. Too much yap, not enough gameplay at all. Not a single battle for 3 whole hours. And that one only lasted a couple of minutes too. In fact, there was one whole 15 minutes.
This part I didn't like. This black drop part, I didn't like this part.
Section of nothing but black screens and 2 static images. 15 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Imagine watching an episode of your favorite anime and it was just literally 1 or 2 pictures for the entire runtime. But
I think the problem with it though is that it's just like these are patches coming out and they probably have a deadline to hit, right? So they probably have to do things that, you know, is gonna suck. Plus the amount of lore and stuff they drop in it and dialogue, they can't really animate all of it and, you know, have it like that, because then it's just gonna look like a fighting game, like an anime fighting game campaign, which is fine. I love the Guilty Gear story, but I just think that that's probably why they do it. Plus, it's a mobile game. Like, this isn't God of War, but I do think that the whole staring at the back of people's heads really sucks. Just move a camera around, bro. It's got a camera movement here and there. Can that work? I think that could probably work, but I think for the amount of talking that they do, like if this was only an hour and a half quest, like maybe a 2-hour quest, I don't think this would be that big of a deal. But I think the fact that it's that long, the fact that it's a 6-hour quest and 5 hours and 55 minutes of that is spent looking at someone in the back of the head in the same, you know, the same pose, I think that is a problem.
at this point, I knew what I was kind of getting myself into, so let's just take it for what it is. Maybe I'll enjoy it more that way. Nope, but it's not as bad as Genshin. At least you don't have to listen to Paimon. Who needs Paimon? They do the exact same thing in Honkai Star Rail 2. Repetitious, redundant dialogue talking about things we just did or things we
It looks so funny, bro.
don't care about.
I think it's just that I was locked in, so I just didn't really care for the camera not moving. I usually don't. Like, it doesn't bother me just because I'm listening and I'm reading. So I don't even look at the characters, bro. I really don't. I am too busy reading the dialogue.
Sure, maybe it's not as annoying as Paimon's high-pitched screeching.
Booga, booga, booga.
But why is Sunday telling us about how Robin got shot in the neck? Again, too much tell, not enough show. Why aren't we seeing it? Now, I don't mean to go the full PG-13 route or anything
Yeah, they probably can't show that.
like that. I mean, think of the children. But they could have done
I mean, they can't show it with her, but, you know, they could see it with, like, with Sparkle doing it constantly in her video.
in a way where we take control of Robin for a short period of time, where we see her helping the civilians. We see the war-torn location, the desolation, the despair, the tragedy, and Robin trying to be the shining ray of light, the song of hope for the people. We see her going around helping people and see hope return to their faces because of her. Then at the end, we can get a scene in the evening. The sun is setting, Robin's in the distance, backlit beautifully, leaving only a black silhouette. Then we hear a gunshot and we see her fall to the ground. Fade to black. Cinema. Pure fucking cinema.
I don't know why this part bothers me. It's like, it's not what you signed up for, bro. You came into this game expecting too much, I guess. This is not. Hey, we don't do that here. But I mean, he might be right, dude. Maybe it would have been better to see it rather than Sunday talking about it. Which, hey, I will never complain about getting more animated scenes. If this whole entire game was just animated and we didn't have any single battle, I would have liked it. Just because it's animated and you can see people walking around instead of standing still. I thought that'd be great.
We could have done all of that in about a 20 or 30 minute sequence. Reuse asset from Bellabog or something. It's not that hard. But no, we get Sunday yapping about it for several minutes, speaking in such a monotone drawl that I almost fell asleep.
Now you understand why she always wears such elaborate neck ornaments.
You don't like Sunday? I like Sunday. I like the way that guy played him. I thought the guy playing him did a great job.
don't you?
This was supposed to be his biggest motivating factor. This is why he was drawn to Order, and he talks with such apathy about the whole entire thing. His entire story is about him wanting to protect his sister, to keep her in a cage for her own protection, and she wants to be free despite the danger that might come to her.
Robin.
I'll give this to 2.2 though. It did start to explore interesting philosophical concepts with this plotline. They kept bringing up the question of is it better to be in a cage completely protected from harm, or is it better to be free even though you may get hurt?
The
whole
charming
thing between Robin and Sunday
not
is
the
that their
dove, bro.
relationship is much like the bird in the cage flashback that was just
God.
brought up, and it was genuinely interesting. Well, it was the first time we heard it, but the amount of times
15 times, let's go. Look here, little bird. Look here, brother, a little bird. Look here, a little bird.
Annoying. I wasn't the only one that noticed this either. Even now, there are people making charming dove memes. I could go
One day after
on
dinner.
about all the other things, like how nobody seems to speak like a regular human being.
Still unwilling to reveal your true identity?
It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I can't. I've come so far, and I can't sum up all of that in just a few words.
Not to mention that a lot of the dialogue sounds like it's written by an edgy 13-year-old.
A lot of this dialogue is translated as well. Like, here's the thing, right? If he wants her to just say no, so he complains about how the static images and stuff like that, and that's totally fine. I absolutely agree with that.
Your true identity?
Here's how it would sound like, because it's a translated game and he's playing it in English. This is how it would look like.
It's not that.
No. And then there's all this space that has to be filled because she's talking in the Mandarin version, which is the main version. So it's like, it probably looks weird. It'll look like Genshin Impact, where Genshin Impact, the mouth will stop moving, but you'll still hear voices.
A lot of the dialogue
It's like me every night. Oh God, I hear the voices. Sorry, go ahead.
It's written by an edgy 13-year-old trying to be deep. Why does life slumber? You're fucking kidding me with that line.
At least they didn't say Riz, like in Zenless Zone Zero. I'll give them that much. They didn't say Riz, which is like the worst part about Zenless Zone Zero.
What the fuck?
I think they said Honkai and later in the game, which I hope
don't
not.
Think that's deep. Yeah, okay, whatever. And other issues that aren't really Honkai Star Rail specific, like the single choice dialogue options, or the illusion of choice, where you have like several options, but they all say practically the same thing, and
it's just dialogue, or it's just, yeah. I mean, they all do that. They do that. I just did that. I just went through a thing with Nikkei where they did that, and I didn't mind it. You just have different, do you want to slap the bee away or stand still? One or the other will get you maybe one or two different dialogue options, but then you just kind of run into the same, the same thing. Although I will say sometimes the Zenless and Nikkei, you can actually have a different choice that gives you a different outcome. I'm trying to think of one where that happened. I know what event it is. I just can't think of what it was called off the top of my head. Oh, I think the back rooms. That's not what it's called. The backyard. That one where you can either save the place or burn it to the ground. Yeah, that I like how that actually has an actual, thing. But they're gonna have to choose one or the other for which one's canon. So in the end, it kind of matters. It kind of doesn't.
Leads to no changes at all in the dialogue tree. Like, what is the point?
You can have different. I mean, sometimes you can get achievements for different dialogue options. You can make fun of March for most of the time, which is kind of what I do. I always just pick the dialogue options to piss off March. It's really funny.
But at this point, I think I'd be kicking a dead horse. On the whole, I think the gameplay and story in Honkai Star Rail is good. What do you mean it's good? You've just been ranting about it this whole time. Now, listen to what I'm saying. The gameplay is good. The story is good. The storytelling is absolute horseshit. It doesn't matter if you think Honkai Star Rail.
I think. Sorry, I almost took my own spin. I think the problem with Honkai Star Rail is that it's the opposite of Zenless Zone Zero. If you were to write out Zenless Zone Zero story, it's just like Demon Slayer. If you were to write out just the story and read it, it's awful. It's actually a really bad story. But just the charm and the way that they talk about it in Zenless Zone Zero, plus the voice acting and how it all looks, it's just it makes you believe it's an amazing story. But it's just like a generic, kind of whatever story. But it's just so good in the way that they tell it. And I think Honkai is the opposite, where it's a really good story, but it's just, it's too serious, if that makes sense. It's like Genshin is a little bit less serious with a little bit of silliness in it. Honkai is more serious with some silliness, but definitely a lot more serious of a story. It seems like the more grown-up version of Genshin Impact is a story. And then Zenless Zone Zero, it's just wackiness the whole time, and I love it.
gameplay is the best that gacha games can be. It doesn't matter if the story is the best thing out there either. Now hear me out.
Nikkei is the best stories that gacha can be.
You could have the most delicious kernel of corn in the world. This corn tastes so good it can change your life, and you'll never taste anything better than it in the entire world for the rest of your life. But if that kernel of corn is encased in a giant dog turd, I don't care how good it tastes, I'm not fucking eating that shit. Sure, the corn might be good, but getting there was an absolute nightmare, and I have the aftertaste of dog shit in my mouth.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'm good. I've been meaning to play through 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, and 2.6, but I just physically cannot.
I think 2.3 sucked. The problem with 2.3 is now we're getting into the opposite territory where it was way too short and a lot of things didn't. It didn't end in a good way. I don't think. I think we kind of fizzled out after 2.2 because I think 2.3, if it's the quest I'm thinking of, hold on, give me a second. Let me make it. So yeah, 2.3. Unfortunately, I think it just faded out in a way that just didn't end well. I think I loved. It was going well. You know, Sparkle was becoming. It was doing something and setting up people, but then in the end, it just turned into a happy campy ending. It was weird. I didn't like it. Like. It seemed like it was going towards a darker path. You know, we might have seen the end of Firefly, and then it's just, surprise, she catches you in a very cute moment. I will say that. I love that moment when she catches you, but after that, after the high and the emotions wore off, I was like, what the hell did I just play? Wait, what was that? That was awful. And then you gotta play 2.4. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to get through 2.3, but 2.4 and 2.5 were amazing. I love the Bei Xiao story, my wife. I'm blinded by love. I think her story was great. It actually was better than 2.1 and 2.3. I think so. I think Bei Xiao's story was amazing. And it was just a filler story, too. Why was their filler story had better parts than the actual main story? That's what I was wondering. It was worth it for me, though. I loved it. I love 2.4, 2.5 cinema. And then I actually use one of the fight scenes from I think it's 2.4, 2.5. I actually use one of the fight scenes as my outro. I love that fight scene between Yun Li and Yang Qing. It's such a great story.
Get myself in the mindset.
I haven't played 2.6. I'll be fair. It's 6 hours long, bro. I don't want to do 6 hours for a filler quest. I love Rappa because Calliope Mori, but I don't know if 6 hours love Rappa.
I'm about to put myself through torture right now. I'm about to put myself through torture. This is gonna hurt. This is gonna be painful.
It's not.
I am going
rip
to
rip the Band-Aid off, you fucking pussy.
I'm going to kill myself. But why do I feel like this and the rest of the gacha community still raves about how good Honkai Star Rail is?
Because it's still good. Maybe you just don't like Honkai. I'm sorry, Ryu. Ryu, I didn't want to be the one to have to tell you this. Maybe you just don't like Honkai. Maybe you just don't. It's okay. What, am I going to make fun of you for not liking Honkai Impact or Honkai Star Rail? It's fine. I'm not going to judge you.
Are you fucking kidding me? This is what I think it is. The people who think Honkai Star Rail is good are those who jumped on Honkai Star Rail from day one. They've been playing it every day, piecemeal, and they haven't noticed the gradual decrease in quality, like a frog in boiling water. If a frog is put in boiling water, it will immediately jump out. But if the frog is in cold water and you slowly increase the temperature, it won't notice the danger and it will be cooked to death.
I love
You're
Kafka.
cooked. You are quite literally cooked right now. Well,
is it because we're boiling water? I didn't get it.
actually, modern
understand.
scientists say that due to some regulation, frogs will still jump out, so you're actually wrong. George?
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Shut the...
Thank you, George. Even though I enjoy story-focused turn-based action RPGs, and I do, my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VIII, followed closely by...
Well, you can't... Here's the problem. Here's some of the problems with people who review gacha games is they start comparing them to like actual AAA games. You're not here for that, bro. This is like the fast food of gaming. You're not here for cinematic masterpieces like Final Fantasy 17. I almost said 17. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. If you want a game like Metaphor ReFantazio, go play Metaphor. Don't come to Honkai Star Rail expecting that. You're not gonna get it, bro. I'm sorry.
Final Fantasy X, I just can't bring myself to drudge through dogshit storytelling like in Honkai Star Rail anymore. Even if I like the gameplay, as basic as it is, it's not worth it if it's only 5% of the game as a whole. No, wait, sorry, 3%. Almost gave it too much credit there. Fun but scarce gameplay, interesting core story ruined by terrible writing. Seriously, does anybody talk like a regular human? Just one. I just need one person, please. Atrocious exposition, repetition.
Again, it's translated.
action, jargon, and a lot left unexplained, leaving players feeling unsatisfied. This is what 90% of Honkai Star Rail is right now. And even if the rest of the 10% is all good, all great even, 90% is still the vast majority. And that's why I say...
I will say, because the problem is that with Penacony, it has 1.5. I'll give it like the Penacony story, which is only patch 1 through patch 3. And the problem is that only maybe 1.5, 1 3/4 patches of the story is good. That's the only problem with Penacony. 2 in its entirety sucked. Or 2.1 in its entirety sucked. 2.3, a lot of it was pretty good. And 2.3 kind of fizzled out in an awful way. I'm not counting anything onward from that because those are filler patches. But as far as, I think they should, maybe they just, I don't know if they were trying to cram it all into 3 patches, because it is only 3 patches if you think about it. But I don't know, man. They should have just they should have spread it out more is what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of the same problem with, it's the opposite problem with Wuthering Waves, right? The Shorekeeper, the Black Shore story was too short. Like, Shorekeeper's story felt like a character quest. It should have been a lot longer. It seems to be, you're either one or the other, unless you're Zenless Zone Zero, in which case it's perfect. But for these 2 games that are super serious, Wuthering Waves and Honkai Star Rail, is that you're either one of the 2 opposite sides of the spectrum. Too long or too short. I don't know.
As a whole,
that's just
Honkai
the way
Star
I see
Rail
it.
Fucking sucks ass. Hey guys, just something I want to say to everyone out there.
Hello.
If you like Honkai Star Rail, just keep in mind that this is not a personal attack on you.
I actually think that this is a personal attack, and I'm going to be... No, just kidding. I like Ryu. Ryu's cool.
Liking that game. I'm not going to say like anything like you're stupid for liking it. If you
Wait,
do
what's the
like
rest
it,
of
then
this?
I'm genuinely happy for you. But these are the reasons why, personally, I don't like this game, and
Right.
I just needed to get them off my chest for everyone to hear.
That's
'cause
fine.
Very often, I hear people say that they like Honkai Star Rail, and I say I don't, and they say why. And whenever that comes up now, I can just point to this video and say, just watch this, and you'll understand why. As I mentioned before, there's a lot to like about Honkai Star Rail. Like, the game design, the character design, the music is amazing. Some of the finale cutscenes and all that, I really enjoy all of those. But when it comes to actual core gameplay itself, in comparison to how much of it we actually get in this game, I don't think it measures up. And the further we go along in Honkai Star Rail, the further I feel like Hoyo just doesn't really want us to play this game like at all. Like, with the whole auto battling system, it's very useful. It's very convenient as well. So,
well, you gotta understand that although this is a global game, like it's a global successful game, the problem is that it is first and foremost made by a Chinese dev. And what do they do in China? They kind of auto battle a lot of their games, and a lot of their games are also just straight mobile games. So that's kind of, you know what I'm saying? That's why Wuthering Waves, maybe that's why Wuthering Waves isn't that popular in China, is that this is just going off of Sensei Tower. Sensei Tower is absolutely not the greatest thing to go off of. But it also kind of proves my point why Sensei Tower, which is only mobile iOS sales, is that Wuthering Waves isn't doing that well. But that's probably because a lot of the sales and stuff is on PC mostly, because it is a more PC optimized game. Like if you play it on your phone will probably explode on you. But if you play it on PC, you can actually appreciate the beauty of Wuthering Waves, which is a phenomenally detailed game. It's absolutely awesome. But, you know, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, these are more like mobile games. Like mobile games.
Don't get me wrong.
They just so happen to be on PC.
Like, with the amount of, or should I say, the lack of combat or the lack of gameplay in the actual story itself, combined with more recent characters such as Akron using her skill to instantly get rid of the other mobs as well, it just feels like more and more they're just giving us more reasons not to do the thing that we came to this game to do in the first.
I mean, the thing about that is that Akron is the only character that can do that. You could make an argument for Bei Xiao, but I often find that I'm gonna be completely honest, I often just use it to farm because I can just kill everything in one shot. But yeah, it's like it is 2 characters out of how many characters are there? That's what I'm saying.
First place. Does that make sense? And I'm sure I'm going to hear some people say, well, just don't use Akron then. Well, first of all, that's completely missing the point.
Always use
Second of all,
Akron.
you realize that when you say that, when you're talking like that you sound like the people that are defending Genshin that are saying, oh, well, just don't use Hyperbloom then. Like, why would I not?
I don't use Hyperbloom. I actually don't use Hyperbloom because I think I make an argument that phlogiston as a buff kind of works better than hyper bloom, if that makes sense, which it means you're gonna have to get the characters, but at the same time it also means that you get more variety. So I've been using a lot of Maolani. I'm gonna use I don't have Kinich, but I would have used Kinich, you know, when Malvika comes out. I'm gonna use her. But Honkai Star Rail kind of forces you to use these different team comps as well. Like next might be Remembrance, so we're gonna have to be forced to use that. But it's like, you know, the meta obviously constantly changes. That's a whole another video in its entirety.
Use what I have in my arsenal. And it's the same thing I'm hearing quite often. All the things I hear people say that they hate about Genshin, they defend vehemently in Honkai Star Rail. I just don't understand why. I don't understand why they give Honkai Star Rail a pass when they absolutely rag on Genshin for it. They're both just as bad in my opinion. I know this video is going to get downvoted to hell, but that's fine.
Apparently not.
I know that's just what it's going to be.
It is what it is.
Because I bet most of the people won't really watch past the first 30 seconds. They'll just leave a downvote, a negative comment. And
you know what, Ryu? I'm watching till the end, bud. I'm watching the entirety.
Again, that's just the nature of things. Another thing I know that's going to happen is I'm going to get people in the comments saying you only dislike it because you're a Kuro shill for Wuthering Waves.
He's a Kuro bot, chat. He's a Kuro bot.
I made my first video about Honkai Star Rail way back
Honky
in
Starbucks.
in March or April, way before Wuthering Waves.
March 7th.
And I've always had these opinions about Honkai Star Rail. So it really isn't a case of me wanting to shill for any particular game or company over another one. It's just the way I feel about this. And in fact, I actually have another video in the works right now, kind of being really quite critical about Wuthering Waves. Maybe not as hard as this video here.
I can't wait for that, because I've been critical about it a little. You know, I've been throwing a little bit of jabs here and there, especially with my Zenless Zone Zero versus Wuthering Waves story video. You know, I'm really interested to see what Ryu says about it.
Still quite critical, so I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. But to all you out there that actually watch this video to the end, just know that I greatly appreciate
I
you.
will.
Even
I'm
if
watching
you
the entirety,
disagree with
bud.
me on Honkai Star Rail. It's just different things for different people, you know.
Yeah.
And while I'm recording this, the latest live stream hasn't been announced yet, so I have no idea what the new stuff is going to be like.
I think 3.0.
Honestly, I don't really think it
was the last
matters to me at all. I'm going to say it again. If you liked Penacony, if you like Honkai Star Rail, all the best to you. I honestly don't really care. It's fine. Like I said, I'm not going to say you're stupid for liking Honkai Star Rail. Everyone likes different things, and these are just the reasons why it doesn't suit my particular taste. It's nothing to do with me not liking story. I do. It's not me not liking turn-based action RPGs. I do. It's just I don't feel like this game respects my time as a player. If they cut out all of the fat and all the redundancy and all this just absolute yap and bloat, I think I'd really enjoy it, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
I haven't even done like a 2.6, and I'm already hearing like all the banana memes. So.
Oh my god, dude, I haven't either. I really don't want to do 6 hours of that, dude. No, I'm not gonna lie.
Whatever.
I'm with you right there, Ryu.
Say about this. And by the time
I'm there with you, buddy.
Video, I think it's actually going to come out after that live stream as well. So
I kind of have to do it though, because I want to continue the story.
Off that high for the latest live stream, and they're going to see this video and just absolutely rip into it, and that's fine. It is what it is. As for me, I'm just going to log in, do my dailies, get my Jades, pull Fugue, because she's literally the only character I'm...
Why does it... It's Fugue! Why does it... This is one thing I never understood. It's always funny to me, but yeah. It's Fugue. Like a fugue state. Don't worry, the only reason why I know that is because of Breaking Bad. I didn't know this word before. I didn't know it because of Breaking Bad, but yeah. I don't know where the whole thing started with Fugue, but it's Fugue.
Really hanging about for at the moment, and then I'm just gonna piece the fuck out. I play 7 gacha games every day. One of those games I play 2 different counts on, and there are many other games coming out in the future, such as say like Duet Net Abyss, Neverness to Everness, Project Luminum, Azure Familia, all these other games. Arknight's Enfield as well is another one.
Ooh, Arknights? There's a new Arknights game? Maybe I'll try it.
The time nor
I would try a new Arknights game just because I didn't play the first one.
And so I'm gonna have to like get rid of or like stop playing some of the games I'm currently playing, and Honkai Star Rail is at the top of my list for the reasons I stated in this video.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or dislike, leave a hate thread, and unsubscribe if you want to. Again, no hard feelings. I'll see you in the next one if you ever want to come back to this channel. But for those of you that do want to stick around, then I will see you in the next video. Peace. Why is so much sound in the fucking background? I've got the guy chainsawing and the fucking sirens going in the background. What is going on today? Can you hear that noise? I've got that, and there's also like sirens going off in the background. I'm living in the countryside in Japan. I thought this place would be quiet. Fuck me.
That's great. I thought that was a great video. In fact, I'm gonna sub and I'm gonna like it myself. But man, he just doesn't like Honkai Star Rail, which is totally fine. I think he makes some pretty good points, and a lot of the points I do absolutely agree, especially with the 2.1 to 2.3. I think he makes some pretty good points. The only problem I have was, you know, a lot of it can be explained, I guess, but at the end of the day, it is his opinion and how he feels about this game, and I will never tell someone, no, you can't think that way. You know, if he doesn't like the Hoyo games, totally fine. We're in the golden age of gacha games. You don't have to just play the hoyoverse games, right? And next year, 2025, bro, we're gonna see a boom in all these gacha games with high quality productions. It's actually insane. So if Ryu doesn't like it, don't even worry about it, bro. You'll find a game that you're gonna like. I hope you do find a game that you do. I hope you give 2.4 and 2.5 a chance. Don't play it. If anything, just watch it. And I hope that you can, you know, I will say I hope that you enjoy it, because it's actually personally one of my favorite stories. So if you want to look it up. I recommend watching it just so you don't have to go through 2.3. I really hope that Ryu, you know, I don't know. I like Ryu. I'd be his homie. I'm trying to be friends with all the new wave gacha creators. That's what I'm trying to do, because, you know, as the new wave myself, I want to be friends with all these people. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys stuck around for this video. I know it was a long one. We had a little bit of a debate here with Ryu, and I thought it was a good conversation. You know, even though I'm talking to his video, Ryu, if you ever want to actually have an in-person conversation, you're more than welcome to hit me up. Twitter.com/TheBlueDemonRin. Anyway, chat. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will catch you gamers in the next one.